This is John McCormick, and welcome to this Energetic Safety Leadership Conversation. It is the first of a series of conversations I'm going to be posting around construction safety, industry safety, oil and gas safety, energy safety, any of the big industries that involve the safety business. So I'm going to be addressing some of the things that I've learned over the last 15 years working with some of these industries around the topic of safety. So hopefully I can bring some insight into this. I'm looking forward to some replies, any comments you might have. But I want to address this first conversation around why most people don't believe, most people that work in industries where safety is a big issue, why they don't believe it's possible for everyone to go home safe every day. Now, as I said, I've been around working in the safety leadership, behavioral safety, I was going to say industry, but business for a while now. And I have been part of 2-day workshops, 1-day workshops, all kinds of processes that involve training and developing people around safety. And really it was getting people to see the possibility of getting people home safe every day. And I've been involved with that with thousands of people. So this is not a new conversation for me. It is one that has been going on for years. It started out with leadership and then turned into safety leadership with construction and other industries, and it continues to unfold that way. And my experience has been that it is the right thing to say that we must get everybody home safe every day. I absolutely agree with the concept. The problem I have run into over the years is getting everyone to actually, particularly people that are working on the tools, people that are out there building things, getting them to see that that is a possibility, that they could come to believe that everyone can get home safe every day. And that's the tough part, and we all know it. It's one thing, I actually don't believe a lot of the managers believe it. And so that's the beginning of this conversation. I want to start by saying if you go to the Health and Safety Executive website, it says for the years 2011 and 2012, we managed to kill 173 people in construction or deaths by construction in safety-connected construction incidents over that period. So it's a wonder why people don't believe it. Statistics say, yes, there are still fatalities. Yes, we still hurt people. Yes, we still have a lot of near misses. Yes, yes, yes. So how do you get someone in the face of the numbers to agree? Well, I was going to say agree with you, but that's not right either, because people can agree with you and not believe what you're saying. How do you get people to actually see the possibility that you can get people home safe every day? Because a lot of people do go home safe every day. So it's a big conversation. I'm completely committed to that possibility of everybody getting home safe every day. I think it has a huge impact on what's happened, and there's been some fantastic work done around it. So that's kind of the background on it all. And one of the things I want to point to in this conversation is what I think is part of the reason why most people don't believe it's possible, and what you can really do to begin to make it possible. So that's the 2 points I want to touch on. So first off, when you look at the numbers and you look over 200 years or more of construction in the UK, you look at the amount of people that have been hurt or the amount of fatalities there's been, I can see why it's very difficult for people to believe that we can get everybody home safe every day, or whatever your message is, something along those lines. So it's easy to see why that doesn't live for people as a reality, as a complete and utter reality, in that they live from that place when they go to work each day. And that, to me, is the crutch of this, because this is what I would call a past-based future. So as long as people are living out of a past-based future, and I'll explain that in a moment, what you're going to end up with is a future that is determined by what has happened in the past. So here's an example. We went somewhere on vacation last year, and then this year we want to go somewhere new. And so my wife says to me, well, where are we going? I look into the past for where we went last year to help me determine where I'm going next year. And that's what I mean by a past-based future. And a past-based future does have benefit in the way that it's great for incremental growth. In some areas, it's a fantastic way to have incremental growth where you can move things along in that manner. It's very foreseeable. You know exactly how it's all going to go. You can see where you've been and you can see where you're going. When it comes to getting everybody home safe every day, it's a completely different conversation, isn't it? Because when you use the past-based conversation about it, where I look into the past to see if it's possible to get everybody home safe every day in the future, you can see why it's very difficult to believe it's possible, because the past is full of all the fatalities, all the accidents, and hundreds of years of construction history. So based on that way of looking at designing a future, it doesn't work very well. And this is the key, I believe, to beginning to crack this open, because as long as a person is operating from the perception of a past-based future, it's going to be very difficult to get them. I mean, they might tell you that they're all for everybody going home safe every day, but whether it lives for them like a reality is another story, isn't it? So this whole area of being able to crack open a new perception for someone, to have it not be a past-based future that they live from, that they act from, that they behave from and produce results from, is something that is required to begin to get people to authentically see the possibility of people going home safe every day. You know, it's like saying, before we landed on the moon, no one had gone there, so there wasn't a past-based future that you could pull from on that. All of these things that have happened throughout history that didn't have a past-based history prior to them happening is the place I'm suggesting we can stand to begin to get people to authentically see the possibility of getting home safe every day. The first thing you need to do is to be able to get people to see that they're operating from a past-based future. So I would say you need to distinguish that for people, that one way of creating a future is to look into the past and then project into the future based on that past and design that future from that place. That's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is seeing that is one way of going about it, and the other way is to be informed by that, but not have your whole the whole project or the whole safety industry run because of it. So you can be informed by it, but it doesn't have to, be the design for the future as a result of it. So when you can distinguish one, you can then be free of that. That distinction frees you up to begin to see a new kind of a future, one where you might declare a future, where you would be willing to say, yes, we're going to the moon. Yes, I'm going to break the 4-minute mile. Yes, yes, yes to these things that had never happened before. That kind of a thing can only begin to influence the safety or the safety world when you can distinguish that you have been operating from a past-based future. So I hope that isn't too confusing. But what I want to point to here is that there's two kinds of futures. One that's determined by the past and another one that is declared or you stand for in the face of a past-based future. So it's not like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. One has some benefits and the other one has some benefits. So that's really it in the start of this conversation around how do you get people to authentically believe that it's possible to get everyone home safe every day. And how do you deliver that message authentically? So one is getting yourself to see the possibility, and then the second aspect of it is really being able to deliver that message in an enrolling and powerful way to begin to have others see that possibility. But certainly you would need to be able to see it first. There's no sense you not believing in it and trying to deliver a message that says people need to get home safe every day. There's something off about it. There's no alignment on that. There's an integrity issue. So first off, you must be able to get yourself to see the possibility of people coming home safe, getting home safe every day. And that only begins to become a possibility when you can distinguish this past-based future as where you've been operating from. And then to kind of hold that alongside of declaring a future, an extraordinary future called Everybody Goes Home Safe Every Day, and then have that begin to influence everyone in a way that affects the behavior and the results of the safety of a project. So I hope that's had some clarity to it. I will continue to touch on some of the areas from my experience in working in safety and leadership in hopes that it brings some insight to you and the projects you're working on. So that's it, and we shall see you on the next one.